You may have heard that Maddox is suing Dick Masterson, Patreon, and many others for $20 million. If not, you have now. What you might not have heard is why. To answer that, we need to take a quick trip into the past. Maddox is the pseudonym of George Ozonian, a writer known for creating the best page in the universe, which grew popular in the early 2000s, prompting him to write a book, The Alphabet of Manliness, which became a New York Times bestseller. Dick Masterson is a character created and played by satirist Dax Herrera for his book, Men Are Better Than Women. Dick became well known after appearing on Dr. Phil, and a YouTube clip of this appearance has been viewed over 4 million times. Maddox and Dick met through their mutual book publisher, Simon & Schuster. Legend has it, they have been friends, worked together, and pitched shows to networks like Spike TV for about 5 years before deciding to start a podcast together. It was to be called The Biggest Problem in the Universe, and it would become objectively the best podcast ever created. The show's premise was simple. Maddox and Dick would each discuss a problem or two, and the listeners would rank the problems. The ultimate goal being that after the show's completion, the show will have created an undisputed list of every problem in the universe, ranked from biggest to smallest. Because the show's premise was debate, high tensions and intense arguments were integral to the show. After 2 years of being at each other's throats for 90 minutes once a week, the relationship between the two hosts had completely deteriorated, and the show was abruptly cancelled. To the listeners, this was a slap in the face, partly because the show had gone on a 2-week hiatus with claims it would return better than ever, but mostly because, for the final episode, Dick Masterson wasn't even present. In his place sat divisive, repeat guest comedian Asterios Kokonos. This caused rabid speculation as to the nature of the end of the show. People placed blame on Dick, Maddox, and even Asterios, but no concrete answers were given. Maddox was tight-lipped and it wasn't Asterios' place to say, but Dick had tweeted that he would start a new podcast, so many fans flocked to Dick's new show for an explanation. Artistic differences was the reason given. This, to many fans, was like a drop of water during a drought. It satisfied the slightest amount, but there was much thirst for more. Considering Maddox's almost complete radio silence and refusal to properly address why the show had ended, coupled with tweets like this, the craving for information had never been higher. Discussion of Maddox in the old show was soon colloquialized as Goss. Over the next few shows, Dick would take a few shots at Maddox, hinting at a serious upset between the two podcast hosts. However, just 3 short months after the breakup, Maddox releases a video titled, What Really Happened to the Biggest Problem in the Universe? In it, he enumerates all the reasons he claims the show ended with a catchy hashtag, Dick Lies. The most notorious of these allegations were that Dick was a rape apologist and that his show maintained an official rape list. Many fans saw these as dubious claims at best, but the shock value and lack of context given was a perfect recipe for a social media shitstorm, with many of the hosts' mutual friends severing ties with Dick. Subsequently, Dick was kicked out of LA comedy troupe The Upright Citizens Brigade and barred from entering the Tournament of Nerds, a comedy show that both hosts had been participating in for several years. Dick had been all but exiled.
But to answer your question, I got a call and they said, I'm sure you know what this is about? I said, yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun. I get a text 10 minutes later saying, hey, we'd appreciate it if you removed your profile picture on Facebook because it was a picture of me at the show. The amount of hate they were getting for me merely being associated with the show was so great that my own Facebook profile picture had to be changed to stop the mob, to calm the mob. But that's the thing. There's no calming the mob. They'll never stop. People have been texting me all day. They're going after your parents.
The dickheads, having disproved numerous claims being put forward in Maddox's video, rallied to prevent a decent man from being deplatformed and having his livelihood taken away. In doing so, fans pushed Dick's Patreon to within the top 50 for earnings on the site, to a peak of over $20,000 a month. And by this time, the dickheads had no misgivings as to who was really to blame for the dissolution of the old show. In Dick's emergency broadcast, episode 18, where he defends himself against Maddox's video, Dick tells a story and alludes to what might be the real reason the old show ended. Quite some time ago, Maddox and Dick attended a wedding. Dick left the wedding with a girl who would turn out to be Maddox's ex-girlfriend of over 3 years ago. Maddox, who was attending the wedding with his current live-in girlfriend, became immeasurably enraged, spamming his ex's phone with a repeated line of questioning. "Did you leave with Dick?" The girl is quoted as saying to Dick, "I'm so glad that crazy arsehole doesn't know where I live." So, let's take stock. A show dies, nobody knows why. One side gives answers, another implications. People follow the answers. Maddox feels slighted by Dick and the community, and, fed up with Dick taking potshots at him on the Dick Show, launches a hail of implication bombs at Dick, causing him to be exiled from the LA comedy scene. The internet responds by boosting Dick's Patreon to obscene levels as a stand against perceived punishment of wrongthink. Turns out this all could be because Dick allegedly got to know Maddox's ex-girlfriend. Due to overwhelming crowd support and demand, Dick starts performing live shows with his co-hosts and noted guests, including Asterios, titled Road Rage. To end the debut live show, Dick claims he's come across a letter, written by Maddox to 80s Girl. This letter is apparently a "please get back together with me" letter.
You know, Maddox has been threatening 80s Girl. On private Twitter messages, he's saying that he's accusing her of things. Same kind of lying and implying shit he's doing to me, saying it's gonna cost her a job, whatnot. I didn't know how to handle it. It's like, fuck him. But she was going through some of her stuff the other day. Old stuff, unpacking, and she found an envelope. She's never seen it before. What's this envelope? Weird. Maybe I should just throw it away. Nah, I'll take a look at what's inside. It is a post-breakup, "please get back together with me." Letter. And now, I have it.
This letter would come to be known as the nuclear Goss bomb, a hopeful deterrent against future character assassination attempts. However, this would not be the case. In retaliation of the looming threat of the nuclear Goss bomb, Metal Jess, Maddox's girlfriend, knowing 80s Girl is a teacher, began calling the schools in her district to warn them of Dick's apparent wrongdoing, and allegedly makes claims that 80s Girl has a podcast where she does all sorts of nefarious things. This went about as well as one can expect. After Metal Jess was served with a restraining order, the Goss fire died down. It seemed there was naught more to uncover. The story had been told, and most Goss-related questions had been answered. Dick remained a successful podcaster and would occasionally regale his listeners with tales of the old show and stories of Maddox's apparent lack of social and self-awareness. That brings us to today. Almost. This $20 million lawsuit, or more accurately, $380 million plus legal fees lawsuit, seems to be the final form of Maddox's attack on the man who stole his girl. Many aspects of the Goss have been omitted to make this as concise as possible. A link to a more expansive Goss timeline can be found in the description below, as well as links to pertinent episodes of The Dick Show and Maddox's "What Really Happened to the Biggest Problem in the Universe" video. Thanks for watching.